the hash
Mhm.
search.
Yeah.
What is the main goal of that one?
Yeah, let me cover that in our next service.
Okay. I'm gonna get some sparkling water from
Sure.
downstairs. Do you want anything?
No, I'm all set.
That's nice also.
Cool. So the next service is a service where we actually have version 1 and
Okay.
version 2. And this is our end user protection service. And I'll go over this in detail. So what we have So our end user protection service is all about taking populations of users that are vulnerable and protecting them. So the classic example is you're a bank.
Mhm.
And you have clients that are logging into your bank portal,
Mhm.
right? But you also have hackers that are trying to pretend to be those clients, log into bank portals and steal money. So what do, right? Because those users are not a part of your corporate domain.
Mhm.
They're not a part of your email domain. They're a bunch of Gmails and Yahoos and whatever. So what we do is we make it easy for you to take, hundreds of thousands of end users,
Mhm.
put them all into a watch list, and then we'll alert you to whatever hackers are stealing about your clients. And if hackers are stealing passwords, then you can make sure those passwords don't work. If hackers are stealing information in order to commit financial fraud, well, then you can let your wire transfer team know that this is a highly sensitive account and it should have higher security controls, right?
I see.
So end user protection is all about protecting end users, which is a part of the responsibility of businesses today. Now, one thing we found in that example is that our clients, given the current environment, especially the current regulatory environment, didn't want to give us their end users. They said, well, I want to protect my end users, but I don't want to give you who they are, because then I'm sharing data I can't be sharing, I'm breaking regulation, or I'm worried. What if hackers steal that data from you?
Yeah.
They're generally concerned. And so earlier this year, we made a brand new version of this service, and it's called Dark Hash Collisions. So the way that Dark Hash Collisions, the end value of this service is we can monitor end users without you ever telling us who they are.
Okay.
So how does that work? Well, it all works based on hashes.
Okay.
So to give you an example from the customer side, the customer has a database of users, right? Now, these users could be usernames or they could be email addresses, but even if it's an email address, the first part of the email address is a username. So we just talk in terms of usernames, okay? So we take all the usernames that represent the customers at a client, and we take them and we hash them. So a hash is a programmatic one-way modification of that username. So we take Bob Smith, and it turns into a real long string
Mhm.
of base 16 characters.
Yeah.
So that's one way, right?
Mhm.
It's B Smith always turns into FAA 12, whatever.
Right.
Now we go a step further.
Okay.
We say, okay, well, you could give us those hashes, but in theory, we could build a great big rainbow table that reverses those hashes.
Okay.
Why don't you give us half of the hash, right? So you're already taking the username, hashing it, but to be extra paranoid, let's just
Okay.
give a half. Half of a hash is meaningless.
Mhm.
There's literally nothing you can do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you could break the algorithm,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have enough information,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's exactly what we do. We have our clients take all their usernames, hash them, cut them in half, and give us the half.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we've done, and it's a very labor intensive, expensive process, is we've taken every record we've ever seen from all hackers. And we've extracted out every email address we've ever seen.
Mhm.
And then we've extracted out every username from every email address. And then we've taken every username and we've hashed it, the same hash algorithm that our clients use.
Right.
So we have a giant index of these hashes that point to specific records. And so when we have a client give us half hashes, we can very quickly say, oh, this half hash, that points to this record, and this record has a password. And so we're actually able to give back to the client a huge list of half hashes and passwords. For us, we have no idea what that means. It's meaningless to us. But to the client, they can actually take those alerts that we're generating. They say, okay, well, this half hash is actually Bob Smith. And so they can actually take all those half hashes, convert them back into usernames, and now they have usernames and passwords. Yeah. Right. So in the end, our clients are able to take meaningless data, give that to us, and get back a bunch of usernames and passwords, which represent the most likely usernames and passwords that hackers are going to try to use to break into accounts. And we've done this system in case studies with some of our partners. Okay. One of our partners was working at a big bank. They've used this system and they found that they were able to stop 3% of account takeover, what would have been successful account takeovers preemptively before hackers even tried it. 3% doesn't sound like a lot. No, but if you have 100 million to a billion users, it's massive. Yeah. Yeah. So we know the system works, and the big key here, you know, and it's written all across, is zero user knowledge is shared. Yeah. We've got basically a giant firewall. Yeah. You give us gibberish, and we give you back critical information. Right. So from a watch list perspective, here's an example watch list, right? These are all just hashes of email addresses. It's complete gibberish. Okay. But we monitor it. We can easily monitor all these half hashes. Okay. From a timeline perspective, this is what we get back. Here's your half hash. Here's your password. Half hash password. So these are key. These are passwords from today, and these are passwords that likely work, right? So we've got, you know, Portugal, 121P exclamation point. Daniel 44 exclamation point D exclamation point. Fire 1000F exclamation. These are
Default
yeah.
password.
these are all passwords that are ready to be exploited by hackers. And these are all passwords from today.
Yeah.
So we can, we basically, the way we collect, think of the way we collect as if you had a hacker that was highly motivated and had enough money for all the infrastructure we've ever built,
Yeah.
right? They would be able to get this level of data. They'd probably process it slower because we process
Yeah.
this data very quickly. So we can get these alerts into the hands of our clients before the attacks because we're faster, right? So that's one use case. The next use case, and this goes back to our research service, is hash searching. So not only can you give us a watch list and we can monitor it, but you can do this in real time. So let's say that S. Thomas, 85, just tried to log into his bank. You can send to us the half hash as he's trying to log in,
Right.
right? So you log into your bank. When you hit submit, your bank sends us a message and says, hey, Divya just tried to log in. What have you seen for Divya? It's like, oh, well, I've seen this password right here. Malaki. I don't know. Is that the password she just tried to use? And the bank doesn't have to tell us, but on their side, they say, yep, that's exactly the password she just tried to use. We should give her a call before we let her log in.
Yeah.
Right. So you can do this preemptively, or you can do this in real time. No matter what you do, zero knowledge is shared. Yeah.